Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today it's third episode of Jim and Vita React.
And today we're reacting to Hot Toys' newest announcement of the No Time to Die James Bond.
Right, so far I believe this figure was very heatedly debated from the minute it launched, like from the minute the pictures reached the internet.
That seems to be the common theme of most of the figures now, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, let's dive into the head sculpt first and let's discuss what do we think, and let's try not to be swayed by other people's opinion.
That's easier said than done.
So
I'll let you go first then.
of course, ladies first. So actually, when I woke up and I took my phone in my hands this morning, that was like literally almost the first thing I saw, and you were still like half asleep, and I was like, oh, James Bond has been announced.
Yeah, we're at that point now where you're getting these notifications before I am.
And I literally said, oh, it looks pretty good. My first impression was good. I recognized it's Daniel Craig. I thought the head sculpt, it's pretty accurate. And, then afterwards, you dwell in more detail.
Is it gestated?
And then also you being sent a custom head sculpt, and you think, Hot Toys, if the custom head sculpt maker can make something like that, why your head sculpt is a bit off?
I think that's fair. I mean, I think look, all of these guys that create these sculpts are effectively custom makers in a way, just this one happens to be employed by Hot Toys. But that raises an interesting question, because you can see obviously, so this is the custom by V Collectibles on the right here.
Yes.
And this is the Hot Toys on the left. Now, while I can see elements of the Hot Toys, which is definitely much better, the hair for me being an obvious one, there's elements of what I think the custom sculpt gets right that Hot Toys has got wrong, and I think you can see that in the thickness of the face. Now, do we know what film this version of Daniel Craig's Bond is from?
No, it's just the head sculpt, the custom head sculpt.
So it could possibly be him from Casino Royale, where he's a bit younger. Maybe he has, and I don't know, maybe he has a fuller face in No Time to Die. To be honest, I haven't seen No Time to Die since it came out in the cinema.
Okay.
I don't think we've rewatched it since then, so that's probably something we need to get on.
Probably.
It's a really good film.
Maybe I should have done more research, but the time is.
No, I mean, look, it's still the same person, although there are changes person to person. You can kind of see it. And if you look at the Hot Toys ones on the left versus the photos from No Time to Die on the right, you can still see he does have that kind of slimmer jawline. Because for me, a lot of things like this is good. And when I saw someone on Facebook mention this, if you look at the individual points, you can see what they get right. So, for example, he has a kind of droopy eye. So I like that. They've done that right. His nose looks correct. His lips, I actually think, look correct as well. Brow looks good. He might be... Now, even the veins on here. Initially, I thought the veins on the sides were wrong, but you can kind of see them on these photos.
Yeah.
The issue for me is the shape of the jawline.
Lips.
Doesn't capture him. I think the lips are good.
No, lips are a bit... The bottom lip is a bit too thick. Especially if you look at the bottom picture in the middle.
But his bottom lip is thicker than the top lip.
Yes.
So they've got that.
But just the shape of that lip, it just looks too smooth, too plump.
Too plump.
On the left side, and in the middle it's more flat. It's not as it's not as soft. I will
say I've seen a lot of people, and Ben Thomas mentioned this, that saying he looks a bit like Putin. Don't see that.
No,
to be honest, maybe the nose, or maybe given the nose is similar-ish.
I cannot compare anyone to that horrible person, especially not Daniel Craig. So I'm not commenting on that.
He probably doesn't want to be had in that comparison. His eyes, a lot of people mention the eyes. They aren't the right brightness of blue or shade of blue, so I get that, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what the custom side I think reflects. I prefer the lips on a custom side. If you will compare them, I prefer the eyes. Again, the hair color on custom side is off, but as you mentioned, I didn't do my research. My bad. I don't know if from which movie that sculpt's supposed to be.
Look at the top photo up here, like this one. I think that you could use this as either one. I mean, to be honest.
Listen, in my opinion, is the custom head sculpt looks better? Yes. Yes, I'm honest. For me, yes, it does look better.
Apart from that,
Does the left one looks like really, really bad and it looks like Putin and you can recognize Daniel Craig? Absolutely not. Not from my side of you.
That's true.
But we now notice, like, it's our third episode, and we now notice this trend with hot toys where we feel like their faces are too wide. Something is just not quite clicking there.
That's
They're a bit too full. Those angles just not as sharp.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Like, maybe that's what people mean more when they say it's soft. Like, if you look at his jawline, it's quite defined here, but it's more rounded on the hot toys. The chin as well isn't quite as angular. There are angles on the hot toys which are really, really good. Some angles, like this top one we have here, not quite as good. Like this bottom one looks a lot more like him than the top one for me. But both of them, I'd say, look pretty good. So they've definitely missed something. It's almost an absolute banger, but a slight miss.
Yes.
Are we going to rate this? Should we rate this before we move on?
No, we will rate the overall, like we did with Elena.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So another little thing I fixated on is actually the ears. So I think like
He's got funky ears.
The custom one has much better ears.
If you look at this
they're
bottom
much
one,
more accurate. Exactly that. Like I always notice his ears, and there's no diss at him anything. He is still a handsome man. But I just think again on the Hot Toys head sculpt, the ears a bit more round, not as accurate. But that's just nitpicking, isn't it? Like how often do you look at ears? Who else noticed the ears despite me? Just let me know.
You can see the slight different angles of each of the ears on the custom sculpt over the Hot Toys, maybe slightly, because one ear sticks out at a slightly different angle than the other, but that's really nitpicking.
Well, as I said, you didn't even mention ears. I picked it up on, right?
Look at you. All right, well, let's move on to the next slide, because we don't want to keep the guys here too long. Okay, so this we can obviously see the full figure, so we can kind of look at the suit.
Fun fact, guys, fact. On the left, the very left picture, James thought I put side by side two
pictures of the figure. I did. Yeah, that is true.
So, I mean, in a sense, that's kind of a compliment to the figure, because he thought it's that good, and he just thought that's the angle.
It's a likeness. I was like, the likeness on the one on the left looks so much better than the one on the right. Because actually, Stan, this is a bad angle for that sculpt. This doesn't do it any effect. This is one of the worst photos, I'd say.
It looks very boyish.
Of it.
Like, not manly. It looks very boyish. And straight away, I will mention here the body shape. Shoulders. Shoulders are too tiny. Shoulders should be broader. The traps should be a bit... Yes, definitely exactly that. Skinny. He's too skinny. He needs to get some beef on.
Yeah, his pecs are too small. He's missed his bench press. He hasn't been doing his lateral raises or his shrugs or anything like that. He's definitely too skinny. I wonder if they did that so that once he's fully suited, it doesn't look overly big, but I feel like that's something they should fix. I feel like suits, for me anyway, it's something hard for 1/6 scale figures to get, and I think that's partly due to the stitching. Sometimes the stitching to me looks a bit too large for the suit, but I think overall they've done a good job on this one, but he definitely looks too skinny when you take that suit jacket off. They should probably fix that.
If you look at very left picture as well, look at those shoulders when he is pointing the gun, right? Like the shoulders look really broad, right?
But it's hard not to.
Exactly. Like the shoulders are broad, there is mass there. And even like looking at the Hot Toys picture there where he's pointing the gun, again, I think the shoulders still looks quite narrow. Like he looks a bit too skinny overall.
I've seen people throughout the day as well kind of mention the same thing. And because his shoulders are quite small, I feel like his head looks a bit too large, almost.
No,
not on the suit. On the suit, it looks fine, but I think like without the suit jacket on, like neck line a bit too long, head maybe a bit too large. I think on this photo it's not as bad.
Also, who holds the gun like that?
Well, James Bond he knows what to do with guns. Okay?
But
So don't question Mr. Bond.
I don't know. I've never
Okay?
seen anyone
Because
holding
he'll
gun like
shake in
that.
and not stir you. That is for sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, the proportions need a bit of work. The actually tailoring again, I think, is not too bad on this one. I like how shiny the shoes are.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Spit
They're
and
pretty
shine.
snazzy. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they did a good job on the suit? Bad job on the suit? What are we thinking?
Honestly, I'm not into as much detail in the suits and everything, and not as knowledgeable as you are.
Oh,
so
I couldn't tell you what suit this is or if it's accurate to the film. Don't get me wrong. You need Agent Silver Fox or maybe Shane for that. They'll know from Basic Figure Focus.
let's see what you're gonna bring on tonight on
Yeah.
the stream. Yeah, overall, when I was trying to put the slides together, right,
Mm-hmm.
it was quite hard to find the picture of James Bond in a full suit in action.
And this is a tux, don't forget. It's not a suit.
Well, sorry.
Same, but different.
Language barriers
Mm-hmm.
and all. So, would I have preferred different look? Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, like a bit more casual, rugged look as he had through the movie.
Yeah.
There was quite few, nice shots. But overall, yeah, I mean, it looks fine.
I get why they've done
man in a suit looks
tux,
cool.
And I think again, One Six Figure Focus said this quite nicely. A lot of films, James Bond is in a tux. It's not my favourite look for him. In fact, my favourite look for him is on the next slide. But
so is mine.
It is a good option clothing wise. I would have preferred the tactical outfit towards the end of the film. For me, I think that would have looked good. And sometimes, like I said, suits don't translate as well into figures, or they don't make them as exciting, if that makes sense. Whereas a good like tactical suit, like if you think about how well they tailor like super suits, like that Batman we just got in, and then this looks good. This looks good, but like they look like completely different levels.
Yeah.
Which is the interesting thing. But let's move on to the final slide now. And there we go. So this is everything you get with him. Now, he is a bit bare bones, but look at that price. $198.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Range. That's not too bad.
All in all, as we mentioned, this is my favorite look for James Bond. Just looks so badass. And
this
that
one on the
gray,
left,
yeah, grey suit.
Yeah.
And it's just
my least favorite of his films.
It's iconic.
The suit, like yeah, I went to a dress up party dressed in that suit. Not that Tom Ford suit. No, mine was from Primark probably, but still, this is my favorite look for Bond. I like him in the 3-piece suit. He looks a lot more suave and debonair. You know, that man there has a
I don't know such big
sure.
words, so I'll just say he looks hot.
It's because I'm the posh one out of us two. But I think
rude.
I'm happy for the price for what we're getting, but I kind of wish they went a bit more all in for the first Bond figure. I can maybe see how they're testing the water maybe a little bit, but they've invested in the license. We're about to get more Bonds. I think they should have gone a bit more in. I'm torn on this base because part of me is like, it's a cardboard base. I don't love that, but I'm also kind of glad by the background they chose because that's iconic for James Bond.
Yeah.
For his intro, so I do like that. I kind of almost wish they had a reversible bit where you flip it round and it's got the blood coming down after he shoots. That would have been cool.
A great idea.
That would have been cool.
Hot Toys, listen up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, you only get you get 3 guns. You get 3 guns, you get suit, a bunch of hands, a watch, a cigar case, apparently that is, and you can take his suit jacket off. So he's a bit wanting.
But Yelena came with less, I would say, and with a higher price point.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. She's Marvel money. Marvel money.
But James Bond.
That a filmmaking loss, you know, they had to make Disney had to make their money back.
Let's not discuss that. But overall, let's try and come up with the rate. And if you haven't seen our previous episode, we are rating out of 7. Somebody asked me, Jose Plus asked me, why out of 7? Because 10 is too detailed and 5 is not detailed enough. So 7 for me, it's a brilliant middle where you can kind of base your rating best. It's just my opinion. And James. So overall, I don't think he looks like Putin. I recognize Daniel Craig. Could it be better? Yes. My overall point is it's prototype. So will it drop? If it will drop, then it's scraping 4 at the most out of 7. But if they will improve it, but apparently that's not the case usually, I'm not that knowledgeable yet, then
You never know.
4.5, 5. I'll tell you what
You
drives
can't go
my
half
price.
ratings. You can't go half ratings.
I'll tell you what drives for me the rating up, the price.
You stole my. That's it. Just cut the show. No. I think you're right. I think I was leaning towards probably a 4 out of 7, which sounds bad, but it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
But the price is good. I think they almost knew what they had, so they priced it, I think, quite well. So that does drive it up to a 5. I do wonder if these are the kind of photos where the photos aren't the best option. They can tweak things as it goes along. Again, they might not. They might thin out the face. It's interesting to see. I'm not going to write this off yet. It's a figure that I really want in the collection. I'll be honest. I would love Daniel Craig James Bond. I was really excited when this first got announced. But as I've looked at it throughout the day, I've kind of fallen down a little bit from excited to not so thrilled. And I saw a really good comment on Facebook, license not to thrill for this James Bond. I thought that was a witty little comment, but maybe that's just me. So I'm stealing that from online. But I'm going to give this... I'm going to give this 5, maybe then.
5?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5, actually. I'm going to give it a 5. It's good. The likeness is okay, but needs work.
Yes. And
you know, guys, tweaks.
Let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Maybe you have different points. Maybe you think he looks like somebody else at all. I don't know. Just let us know. This is our first opinion. We might change it as the time goes by. Very possible. The more pictures you see, the more information you're getting. Your mind sometimes changes. But for now, I'm giving it 4 out of 7. And you are giving
5 out of 7. Yeah.
Here it is.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching and thanks for coming back to the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below.
And see you later. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.